It is opening morning of gun season. You are in the stand before light. Coffee still warm in the thermos, and about 7:30, a buck steps out of the pine edge at 110 yards. Broadside. Calm. The kind of shot you dream about all summer at the kitchen table. You settle the crosshairs behind his shoulder, you let your breath out slow, and you squeeze. And he bounds off through the popple without a scratch on him. A clean miss. You sit there in that stand shaking, running it back over and over. And the worst part is that you know that rifle was dead on in August. You stood at the shooting bench and watched it punch a tight little group in the middle of a paper target. So what happened between that bench and that deer stand? Friend, I can tell you, because I have watched it happen to half the men at my own deer camp. Stay with me to the end, because the reason rifles that were perfect at the range miss deer in November is usually not the scope. And it is not buck fever. It is one specific thing that happens to your rifle barrel between your first shot and your third. And almost nobody sights in with it in mind. I'm Donna Larsen. I'm 52 years old. I live in the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and my dad Ray had me in a deer stand before I was 8. I shot my first buck at 11 with his old lever action 30-30, and 44 seasons later, I run the same deer camp I grew up in. Everything I know about getting a rifle to shoot where you look came from Ray and the old timers at that camp, and it still fills my freezer with venison every fall. Now, in all my years at deer camp and 20 more listening to stories across the supper club bar, I have seen two kinds of hunters miss deer with a rifle that was supposedly sighted in. The first fellow bought his rifle in the spring, had the shop bore sight the scope when they mounted it, and figured that meant zeroed. It does not. A bore sight only gets you on the paper. That rifle can still hit 6 inches from where you aim at 100 yards. And the shop did nothing wrong. The second fellow actually goes to the range, but he goes about it like he's mad at the target. He shoots as fast as he can load, cranks the turrets after every single hole, chases his shots all over the paper, and drives home with a rifle that is further off than when he started. A box of decent hunting ammunition runs $40 to $60 these days, so that frustrating afternoon at the rifle range isn't even cheap. And a rifle that isn't truly zeroed costs far more than money. It costs you the buck you waited all year on. And worse than that, it risks wounding a deer you never recover, and no hunter I respect can stomach that. Dad always said the deer don't care what you spent, but they surely care where that bullet lands. And remember what I told you about the barrel between shot 1 and shot 3. That is the exact piece both of those fellows are missing. And I promise you we are coming to it. Now, the sighting and routine I am about to walk you through is Ray's routine. And it is one of the things I wrote down in a book I put together called Donna's Whitetail Bible. 101 field-tested whitetail tricks from my 44 seasons in these woods. I wrote it for hunters who already do the basics right and still come home to tag soup more often than they'd like. It is organized around the problems that actually cost you deer. Dead stands, nocturnal camera bucks, reading on a sign, hunting around other hunters, the rut, shot placement and recovery, and cheap substitutes for the expensive gadgets the catalogs push. No gear ads in it, no $400 answers. It is $17 right now, marked down from $47, which is less than half a box of the ammunition we're going to talk about today. And it doesn't run out when the box does. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, friend, let's get you set to the bench. Step 1. Give the rifle a rest that cannot move. A wobbly rifle will lie to you all afternoon, and you will chase a 0. That was never wrong to begin with. Set up at a proper shooting bench if your range has one. Rest the forend of the stock on sandbags, not on the barrel itself. If you don't own sandbags, a rolled up sleeping bag or a sack of play sand from the hardware store works just fine. About $8 against the $40 they want for a fancy shooting rest. Put your ear protection on. Put your shooting glasses on. Make certain of your backstop, because knowing your target and what is beyond it is the first rule in the stand. And the first rule at the range. Hang your first paper target at 25 yards. Not 100. 25. I'll tell you why in a moment. Step 2. Bore sight it yourself, right there at the bench. If you shoot a bolt action rifle, this costs nothing. Make sure the rifle is unloaded. Open the action and take the bolts clean out of the rifle. Set the rifle solid in your rest. Now look straight down through the barrel from the back, like a little telescope, and shift the rifle until you can see the bullseye of that 25-yard target sitting centered in the bore. Here is the important part. Do not move the rifle again. Now look through the scope, turn your windage, and elevation turrets until the crosshairs sit on that same bullseye the barrel is already pointed at. The barrel and the scope are now telling roughly the same story. If you shoot a lever gun like Dad's 30-30, you can't pull the bolt, so let the shop bore sight it or start extra close, and the rest of this works exactly the same. Step 3. Fire your first 3 shots at 25 yards. Load 1 round at a time. Take your time between shots, settle in, and squeeze. Don't yank. The reason we start at 25 yards is simple. At 25 yards, even a badly off scope still puts holes somewhere on the paper. So you never waste shells wondering where you're hitting. Now walk up and look at those 3 holes as a group. Find the center of that little cluster. Measure how far that center sits from the bullseye, up and down, and left and right. Now your turrets. Most hunting scopes move the bullet about a 1/4 inch per click. But read this carefully. That is a 1/4 inch at 100 yards. At 25 yards, 1 click only moves your bullet about 1/16 of an inch. 1/16. So at 25 yards, it takes 4 clicks to move that bullet, what 1 click would move it at 100. If your group center is 1 inch low at 25 yards, that is 16 clicks up, not 4. That one detail right there is why the fellow at the next bench is chasing holes all over his target and muttering into his coffee. Once your shots are landing right at the bullseye at 25 yards, stop. Do not roll straight into the next string. Let that barrel sit and cool while you tape your target or pour a coffee from the thermos. Hold that thought about the cooling because it is the whole reason this method works. And we are almost there. Step 4. Move your target back to 100 yards because that is where a deer rifle earns its keep. Fire 3 shots, slow and settled, 1 round at a time. Walk down and read the group, and adjust off the center of the group. Never off one single hole. 1 hole can be you. 3 holes are the rifle. Out at 100 yards, your clicks are now worth their full 1/4 inch apiece. So if your group center is 2 inches left, that is 8 clicks. Right. Fire 3 more and check your work. As for where to zero, dead on at 100 yards is honest and simple. And for most of the woods hunting we do in this country, 100 yards covers the great majority of shots. If you hunt open field edges and want to stretch out further, many hunters set their rifle about 2 inches high at 100, which puts common deer cartridges near dead on out around 200. The box your ammunition came in usually prints the drop numbers, so check your own load. And while you're checking things, check your own state's regulations on rifles and seasons every year, because they differ state to state and they do change. And now, friend, we have arrived at the part I promised you at the start. The thing that happens to your barrel between shot 1 and shot 3, and why it sends rifles that were perfect in August sailing over the backs of November books. A rifle barrel is steel, and steel moves when it heats. Every shot you fire warms that barrel, and a warm barrel flexes and vibrates just a little differently than a cold one. So it throws the bullet to a slightly different spot. Shoot 10 rounds in 10 minutes, and by the end, you are zeroing a hot rifle. And here is the truth Ray drilled into me at that same bench 40 years ago. The shot you take at a deer is always, every single time, the first shot from a stone cold barrel. It has been sitting across your lap in a 30-degree stand for 3 hours. So the fellow who fine-tuned his zero at the end of a long, hot string sighted in a rifle he will never actually hunt with. His cold rifle shoots somewhere else, sometimes 2 or 3 inches somewhere else, and at 100. And 10 yards on a live deer, that is the difference between the freezer and that awful empty feeling. So here is how you finish. When your 100-yard group looks right, go home. Come back another day or wait at that bench until the barrel is truly cold to the touch. Then fire exactly one shot at the bullseye. That single cold barrel hole is the truth about your rifle. If it lands where you aimed, you are zeroed for hunting, not for paper. If it doesn't, adjust to it and prove it again with one cold shot another day. One cold shot dead on is worth more than 20 hot ones. And that right there is the kind of thing Dad and the old timers handed me for free. And it is exactly why I wrote 101 of them down in Donna's Whitetail Bible, so they don't die with the men who taught me. If today put you one honest step closer to a filled tag, the book is 100 more steps, told just as plain, for $17 instead of $47. That is less than one tank of gas to your hunting land. And unlike the gas, you only buy it once. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So there it is, friend. Bore sighted at 25, group it at 100, adjust to the center of the group, and trust nothing but that first shot from a cold barrel. Now tell me in the comments what state you hunt and the story of your first buck. I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you why the biggest buck on your trail camera only ever shows up at 2 in the morning, and the one change to your setup that gets him on his feet in daylight. Keep your wind right and your coffee hot, and I'll see you in the woods.